All right then, it's time for Group B. We have FaZe Clan versus G2 to kick things off, and I cannot think of a more hyped matchup for a best of one to kick off an entire group. You have FaZe versus G2. You have the French, who have this star quality that you haven't seen in the French scene for a very long time, and then on the other side, you have FaZe, a roster that people didn't even consider would ever exist in competitive Counter-Strike. You've basically gone shopping, you've just whipped out the checkbook and picked up every big name in CSGO and put them in the same jersey.
Yeah, that pretty much absolutely the same thing that G2 did, but only the French-speaking area.
Yeah, basically. I mean, Jordan, as someone that's been around Counter-Strike since you could pretty much walk, seeing what FaZe have done now with this roster, was this something you knew was going to have to happen eventually?
Well, you know, back in 1.6, you saw Norwegians of America, NOA.
Okay. I think it has to be quick, actually.
This is the dream team. So either way, if it has to be quick, stay tuned, because you're about to watch a frag movie. So stay excited, guys, and don't look away.
You absolutely are. I like that. That's the best way to do things quickly. A frag movie is about to go down. It sounds like the players are almost ready, but we cannot start before we have a look at this. This is FaZe Olofmeister. We spoke to him with our camera crew, and I'm sure this is going to be spicy.
I mean, it was a big challenge to move team. It was not a decision I took fast, but as soon as FaZe contacted me, I kind of knew that was what I wanted to do, to move team, and I'm very happy that I did so. In one way, I've thought about it like I have to speak English all the time, so I mean, just in that aspect, I learned a lot as a person. And also, I needed a new challenge, I needed something new to make it more challenging again. I mean, there's different ways of how to look on the game, and also just personalities. I mean, back in the old team there was 5 Swedes, and I'm a Swede myself, so I kind of knew how everyone was. But now we have a Bosnian, a Norwegian, a Slovakian, and a Dane. So it's a lot of different personalities, but it's a lot of fun. I hope that I fit in good, and I think I fit in good. I think everyone has a lot of fun with each other. And as a player, I fit in well, but I still have like stuff to learn from everyone. And I think that you will never become a full player. Like nobody's ever going to be there. There's always going to be stuff to learn. There's never like a point where you're the ultimate player. I don't know. I don't think there's a such point. But of course, Nico can improve, and I think Consider can improve as well. They are insanely good players, both of them, and they are the 2 best players in the world right now, but there's always stuff to improve. For me, it would be really, really cool to go to San Francisco and play in front of the American crowd. I always liked the American crowd. They always bring the energy, and it will be super cool.
And now the question is, what maps are they going to be going to battle on? It's just a best of one, so things do tend to get a little bit more unpredictable, but also you tend to get a bit of a middle ground. Isn't that right, Yankee? You kind of always say that we're going to be in a weird place right now where both teams are going to be equally as comfortable.
True, maybe Inferno is going to be that particular map, and you know, for FaZe they've been undefeated on so many maps coming into Epicenter. Now I believe it's only Cash left, a map that they are undefeated on LAN, and for G2 they're definitely a good opponent for FaZe no matter the map, but they haven't really met on LAN that many times. It's been mostly online, and surprisingly FaZe is undefeated against G2 in these current lineup. So we see that G2 actually with their last ban, they do decide to get rid of Inferno. They've also vetoed Mirage, which is the only map G2 is undefeated on LAN. I think it's 5 or 6-0 at this point in time. And with their last choice, FaZe go with Overpass, which has been one of their strongest maps lately.
Jordan, I just saw you kind of a nod of acknowledgement when you saw the choice that they made there between Cash and Overpass. Was there any sort of kind of thinking behind that?
Oh, well, I just kind of figured, I figured FaZe ban Cash.
FaZe, even though they're undefeated on it, they're just kind of like, we'll keep this away from the French.
Yeah, well, Choxy has won so many 1 versus X's, fork at himself, and obviously that's not necessarily what they're thinking of. But in the big picture of things, you got Guardian, you got Oppers, you got Overpass.
Guardian is a great example simply because Cash, right, he's still a bit uncomfortable on the map.
Yeah, not be banned for 12 years.
And so forth, so Overpass definitely a better map for FaZe.
Yeah, and they're already jumping in, so why don't we go ahead and jump in. Another Overpass, and it's time to kick off Group B. It's going to be with the casters Moses and Harry.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's going to be FaZe versus G2. Arguably, I think today, best game of the day, I would say. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is one that
I feel like you're a little bit biased because you get it casted.
Yeah, that's very true.
No, this is absolutely a really sick matchup. Obviously, two of the most high-octane teams we have in Counter-Strike at the moment, so it's going to be great. And we have here Shock's going to lead his way up the stairs. There's a good opening battle, and they're going to press the issue. It's lured them into a trap, but at the moment, G2 is doing all right. A good trade to start with, and they're trying to press the issue.
Yeah, Shox is going to go ahead and start to push on up here towards Long. Does have support from Apex, and Rain with his back against the wall, going to be able to take one before Apex does go in with the trade. And now we're into a 3 versus 3, but look at this from Nico. Flanked all the way down through Connector, going to be pushing on up from behind. And Apex, well, he will be there waiting for him.
Yeah, this is a sick play from Nico. This is a lot of information. Obviously, you can cut this off, waiting for more, but Apex is going to turn, so he takes the easy kill. Shox and Body, this map just got cut in half. Where do they want to go? Because if they go downstairs, Nico again can have eyeballs on that. And he's basically the early warning system for both Kerrigan and Olaf Meister. This is going to be difficult for G2. 50 seconds left, plenty of time to do whatever they want. There's the battle, but Nico can't get into cover quick enough. Now the race is on over to the B bomb site. He's called that out. Olaf is already here, dropped into water. This might catch him off guard if they don't expect him to be this far advanced into the site.
Yeah, they have to check this. Olaf going to go peeking in, does the damage. Can't quite deny the bomb plant, but he'll double down anyway. And Olaf inside the site gets that 1 versus 2. Kara going to be rotating on him, but Olaf gets the defuse. And FaZe, they're going to be able to find themselves the pistol round.
Yeah, that's a really nice pistol round from FaZe, all things considered. Great play from Nico, even though I believe he only got the 1 kill, that push. He's taking advantage of all the action G2 has on the other side of the map. That's very nice, and obviously gives them the key to winning the round in the late portions of it. But the plant does go down, so G2, they have the opportunity to save for AK-47s into the third, but it looks like they're going to be buying up the CZs, as we know they love to do. The Deagle's out on NBK. They've even got some pretty decent utility, so there's some danger here for FaZe.
Yeah, you know, the Frenchmen have shown time and time again how proficient they can be in these force buys. So, going to be sending 3 players over down towards B initially. Apex and MBK going to be able to take control of Connector. Olaf will be lying in wait over at short. Spots out Kenny, grabs that first frag now. Starts to fall on back, but Apex going to push on him with the CZ. Does manage to get the trade before Nico swings on around and keeps them at advantage in favor of FaZe. Beginning these rotations in towards B as well as the smokes rain on in from G2. Nico fully flashed, still finds MBK. Body going to do what he can to keep G2 in this round.
Yeah, they've done great to hold off that initial attack. The power of those CZs is obviously the mobility, so it's if they're able to progress on the bomb site and swing around some of those defensive positions that can get quite scary. And at the moment, they've held on just well enough. Nico with 2 kills, Olaf with 1 of his own. So now they're in a very commanding position, although it's only Rain over at the A bomb site. Guardian and Kerrigan both staying over at B. And G2 is slowly moving up. But the way Rain is going to play this is going to be very, very important. You imagine he would play it pretty safe and fall back if need be. Maybe get into an early duel. There's the peek. There's the immediate kill, and that probably seals it. Shox would have to get very, very fortunate with some of these shots. And FaZe Clan is going to be very happy to get out of this round with 3 players alive.
Yeah, they are able to convert the anti-eco. Going to take it 2-0 up, and now there is a little bit of money if GT wanted to try and invest something here, but would be nothing more than just an eco. A couple of PT50s perhaps, as they risked it for spying up in the previous round.
Yeah, that's always the question. Obviously, is do you go for those AKs? And the unfortunate thing is, I don't think you want those 3 kills if you're the T side for spying. And now we have a situation where they're going to have to not be able to buy anything into the next round, which is pretty unfortunate. Stating the obvious, of course, but FaZe is going to be well equipped, and they're going to be able to build up some of that economy. We have a technical pause, obviously, here as FaZe is dealing with some issues. So we'll figure that out as soon as things go. But obviously, I mean, the excitement of this matchup is how impressive FaZe has been pretty much after Malmo, where they went out, I believe, in where they got beat by Gambit and eliminated, and that was in the groups, and then Epicenter as well was, I guess, disappointing in the context of the impressiveness of their run leading into that event. But overall, this team is probably one of the most exciting teams to watch at the moment in Counter-Strike. When you match them up against G2, who has that potential as well, you get a match like this, which is just so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams kind of been teams that are on the brink, right, of getting on that big kind of winning streak that we've seen teams like SK do as of late. G2, I think, never really quite finding that ability to actually take home many victories at a lot of these big events, but they are definitely a team to be reckoned with. One that I think very easily could upset FaZe early on.
It's one of those things where it's actually quite crazy that G2 has that. They're kind of like Virtus Pro in the sense where you feel like they have that ability to just win like any tournament if they show up, if they hit that peak, which is great. You would hope that they hit that level. It's 2-0 for FaZe Clan as we get started after the technical issues, and Rain is going to jump up. He gets an easy kill over Kenny, and he's going to continue fighting. Rain has been so impressive in this team, and he gets 3 kills right at the end. Kerrigan's going to salvage the M4, and there's no real armor on the other players, so should be an easy cleanup. You'd hope Guardian gets this with the SMG for the bonus money for the offer. Now, a quick 3-0 for FaZe Clan as they have gotten off to a very, very strong start, and obviously not losing too many players. I think that's the big thing, is they're able to build up some of the economy as they've gotten these wins, which is always nice if you can establish that early on. Kerrigan's got 5,000, Rain's up there as well. Olaf Meister not too bad whatsoever. And G2 has 5 AKs on the board. No op for Kenny S quite yet. And now Nico is going to fall back. Here comes Apex right around the corner. It's Kerrigan that takes him out. There's a second one following up as well. Good trades, but G2 still haven't been able to make their way into the bomb site, and Rain is now here as well. The cavalry has arrived in Shocks. He's already got 2 kills. He needs to try and do more. 1 minute left on the clock. And he's going to work his way through Monster. So now 4-0 for FaZe. Quickly done up, and Kerrigan's going to have the AWP. He's going to transfer that over to Guardian. That's quite nice. And this is a pretty commanding lead so far for FaZe. G2 haven't been able to make a whole lot of progress. At least that time they whittle down the forces just a bit. They eat into the money. It's Deagles, it's a CZ on Body, and a P250 on Kenny. Rain here on the stairs just trying to get some information. He did that last round, got 3 kills from it in the last anti-eco. This time G2, they're going to try and wrap around him, but he's given up his position. There's NBK with the Deagle with the chance. He brings Olaf Meister low. That's a good trade. Not a whole lot for G2 after that, though. They slowly back away, salvaging an M4, but they need to get that into Apex's hands. He's got the armor. And the question becomes, where do they find the next entry? The Deagles could pick someone off. You want that M4 to obviously get into the action. They've got 1 smoke on Body.
Yeah, going to start to wrap up through Connector. Slowly but surely pushing up through toilets. While lying in wait, that's going to be Rain inside of the A-bomb site. Can't need to be standing here alone. Guardian now begins to rotate back on up, and Rain spots the men in question. That's enough to pull an extra rotation in. You can see Kerrigan now hightailing on up. Rain going to double down, and Guardian, just a shooting gallery for him. Kenny S left 1 versus 3, not meant to happen. As Guardian puts a 5th round on the board for FaZe.
Yeah, this is dirty so far. This is really strong from FaZe Clan, not showing a whole lot of gaps in the defense. So now we have another strong buy, and this time we'll get the op on Kenny S as well. So obviously the weapon you want to see in his hands as much as humanly possible. And at the 5-0 mark, it's pretty much where you expect G2 needs to start coming alive here. Smoke onto the stairs. Rain being aggressive in bathrooms still, at least initially, and this is going to be a long setup. There's not a whole lot of G2 forces over towards Playground, so you actually would expect them not to at least mess with this. So they might even run into that stack. So it might allow for a late round or a mid-round flank coming out of Rain eventually if he feels no pressure. And over in the stairwell towards bathrooms, G2 is able to get pretty easy control because all the attention is towards long for the defense. Bomb still all the way back in T-spawn, so no plan of action coming out of, or coming into the round. We'll have to kind of adjust and pick up that bomb on the way when they make a decision.
Yeah, they're looking crucially for that man advantage right now. Apex and Kenny over here in mid. You can see FaZe, they've got 2 players posted up over at long. That'll be Guardian and Rain. G2 now going to opt to rotate background. They've grabbed that bomb. And they look to see what the B-bomb site has in store. Nico and Olaf, they're going to be the 2 men waiting. G2 now creeping on in. Nico falls at the first hurdle. Olaf suddenly left in an impossible situation, but he's going to double down. Has Karrigan inside the site now to try and support. And well, bomb play about to come through. Karrigan wants to try and deny it if he can. Able to find the first. Shoxy in with the trade. Guardian burns one out, and now NBK 1 versus 2 peeks out wide. Guardian's been spotted, tagged down just a bit. Bomb working against FaZe here. The smoke's gone down for sure. NBK forced out thanks to that Molotov. Just going to be sitting pretty inside of their own smoke. Rain sticks the defuse. NBK pushes in, but Guardian holds the angle, and FaZe, a textbook retake there, will be in with a 6th round.
Obviously, Olaf has such a big impact there, and then it was even huge that Karrigan's even able to get that 1 extra kill. He almost got another one on a low HP player, but either way, NBK had the fight he wanted. He actually had that fight on Guardian. That's what he was looking for. There was a one-on-one there. Guardian was just a bit overextended around that smoke, and you can see NBK, I mean, spraying into the smoke, was almost able to get that kill. Guardian's actually pretty lucky that he's able to survive that, but either way, still not a whole lot of holes in this defense that we've seen out of FaZe. This is suffocating. So 6-0 lead. We're going to have a tactical timeout this time from G2 as they're going to try and figure out exactly what's going on. They're going to have the op back in Kenny S's hands. He's already purchased that. The big switch up that could catch him off guard coming out of this is the other side. Is 2 ops on the FaZe, Guardian and Olafmeister picking those up. And scary thing when you see Olaf and Nico start laughing and giggling at each other like they're having the time of their life. That's not what you want to see if you're a G2 fan.
No, not one bit. And I mean, yeah, as you've seen by the shirt I have in my bag, I very much am a G2 fan. So
it's not looking good for you, is it?
No, it's not. But there's always time for the Frenchman to bounce back. Kenny going to be up on that orb. Let's see if that can make any sort of difference as he ducks down in connector. FaZe going to have Rain probing middle. Doesn't want to go any further forward than toilet, so he will just be lying in wait. And that boost, not meant to be, as Shox will get rid of Olaf.
He's taking his head clean off, and Rain's still here, though. He's the next line of defense, and he's been so good in this spot. He's been a menace, and just the fact that you have to make your way past him now, and he's even got Guardian here with him to back him up. There's a flashbang in. Doesn't bother Rain whatsoever. Still not alerted to his presence, but no one's messing with this. They're allowing Rain to be pretty comfortable here. Apex is watching for some kind of aggression, but he can't clear this space all on his own, especially considering if they do end up going towards B, which isn't looking likely as Nico takes off the head of Kenny. There's NBK, the next one up, and he spots 2 at the B bomb site. So you imagine they're going to grab the bomb and try and take some ground over towards the A side of the map.
Yeah, and this is where Guardian has to try and step up for FaZe. Karrigan will actually go aggressive, be able to find NBK rotating back. They get some information as well as they spot that lone rotator come in. Guardian now sees Apex over here at long, going to use the Incendiary to keep him at bay. Pushing on up though. Shox and Apex able to find that frag on Guardian. Now Karrigan and Nico left 2 versus 2. Bomb still yet to go down. 25 seconds and the rotations are already here. The retake can come in straight away. Bomb plant goes down. Apex quick on the trigger, able to find the first. Now Karrigan 1v2, not meant to be, as Apex in with a 4K. That's what it took for G2 to find themselves their first round here on Overpass.
That was a huge round from Apex, and if you remember, I mean, he's the reason that his performance at Malmo was so impressive. That was one of his tournaments where he was just on a tear. Big reason why they're able to win there. So good to see him with a high impact round early on. He's got 9 kills, leading the way for his team. They're really struggling in the fragging department when you look at it. NBK 0, Kenny 1. Obviously not what you'd like, but they do finally have the money of FaZe in a situation where they're out of it, quite frankly. There's a peek from Nico. He's going to get that kill. So confident he swings out, and him and Olaf take another one. Oh, it's actually a double from Kenny. They respond, and that might bring him right back into this round.
Yeah, because now Karrigan is in B on his lonesome, but Guardian, the Great Redeemer, going to be coming on in from Connector, the saving grace of FaZe in this round. As now Kenny finds himself locked in this 1 versus 3, not exactly where he wants to be.
Guardian's had a couple situations in this game where he's been overly aggressive, in my opinion, just, you know, at the wrong moment. That's a nice peek from him, though, to get the to bring the 3-on-2 into a 3-on-1. Right out of the door, catching him unawares, and Kenny is such a tough job. And he's actually, I think, blocked himself from moving his way to the side, hoping to maybe bait out a peek, pick him off, but Rain's just going to take him down with ease. So 7-1 now, and G2 are the ones who are left without economy and without money into this next round.
Yeah, and I mean, you really hate to see that. They're going to have to force buy down what they can. That one round, while it was a faint glimmer of hope, it's now somewhat turned against them. The economy has been reset. FaZe, double up still in play. Guardian and Olaf going to be sporting that. And this time it looks like Guardian's going to try some aggression out towards mid. Won't find anything. But in a lot of ways, that's more than enough. Gets the information that no one's out in middle. You can see that's prompted the rotation from Olaf into the B-bomb side. 3 players here now. G2, they are about to run into the brick wall.
Yeah, this can be dangerous, especially because there's so many nades. There's so much utility on this defense. That smoke is going to bust up the timing. They have to go through it. They have to hope Karrigan gets blind, and he doesn't. One's gone by him, though. That might be what takes it. And Karrigan, he's missing the spray, and he gets knifed. Completely blind. Didn't even see it coming. 2 quick kills from Kenny allow him to get into the bomb site. Olaf with the AWG trying to spam down the planter. It's not going to happen, and we're into a 3-on-3.
G2 now just going to be holding this passively. They've got the bomb plant. They're going to try and use that to their advantage in lieu of the utility that is missing. Guardian starts to push in quick on the trigger. It's Rain to pick up one. Guardian missing shots left and right. Kenny's over at short and will swiftly bid him farewell. G2 going to be in with their 2nd round.
Yeah, that's so rough. Great kills from Kenny. Karrigan just gets blinded at the worst possible moment. I don't know if that was a team flash or what, but it seemed like he had perfectly dodged everything. Misses one player running by him, and then Kenny's able to make the play. So G2 have 2 rounds on the board. The first win was Apex with 4 kills. The second win was Kenny with 4 kills. So they found the answer is individual Herculean efforts from both players in different rounds. And now they've got to build on this, and they have an opportunity now to turn this, what was looking quite scary at, what, 6-0, I believe it was, and then 7-1. They have the ability now, because there's no money in the FaZe clan side, to kind of bring this up and try and equalize the score just a bit more. And this is where it can get dicey for FaZe, because even though we saw their defense look great to start this match out, it's when they had so much money that they could do whatever they wanted. Now they have to fight back for control. It can be a completely different story. G2 can gain so much momentum in these next couple rounds.
Yeah, and especially with the dynamic we've seen them run in a lot of these rounds, which is the double AWP between Guardian and Olaf, right? That's going to make things kind of tricky prospect if they want to try and get that back up anytime soon. Money, of course, going to be completely bottomed out as they invest into this. I
don't know if we'll see that double upset, but I didn't think it was all that impactful for the FaZe side of things. And actually, I mean, you could see towards that previous round when it is a 3-on-3 against the CZs with 2 ops retaking into the B bomb site. It's not the easiest thing to do, and the CZs actually, in a lot of those scenarios, outperformed the ops. So that can get worrying if you're going to invest in that. Karrigan has a scout, and that is highly aggressive. He's tagged Apex, and there's the cleanup from Guardian. Nice little 1-2 punch, Scout Deagle. Good advantage for FaZe to fall back with.
Yeah, now with the man advantage, question is how do they decide to play this out? It's going to be passive as you would expect. Holding with 3 players inside the B-bomb site. That boost once again employed. Nico, the one to try and take a little peek over the top. Body now charges in towards the B-bomb site. Has support from the rest of the team. Rotation's already going to be arriving. 4 players here, and Rain does put in some work. Shock's going to be swift on the return, and there's Nico in with the D, gets a 2nd, wants to try and make it 3. Kenny's not going to let that happen, but he finds himself trapped. Kenny, back and forth, doing the impossible. Man over a barrel's going to inflict some damage. Now 5 HP in a dream, 45 seconds left. And Kenny, backed into a corner here, takes the peek out. Guardian does find it. And FaZe, they managed to somehow do the impossible there. They get themselves an 8th round, and that's got to hurt for G2.
Yeah, that was crushing, obviously. I mean, great plays from Nico, but I think the big thing that wins it, the big performance, is Rain. He's the first one spotted, and he actually gives up that fight. He doesn't take it. He falls back into water. He allows G2 to make progress, and that's where the rest of his teammates pounce. They had a perfectly planned attack when they were at that position, and there's just too many different angles of Nico running through the smoke. They know someone can come up the ramp. So by Nico not taking that fight, if he takes it and dies, I think G2 wins that round pretty handily because they don't have to worry about that position. Great stuff from FaZe. And Kenny there at the end, it was some brilliant shots, but it's also kind of funny when you see he's like a wounded animal. He's so scared of every little piece of movement that he's just quick scoping at everything. G2 trying to respond. 2 AKs, 2 CZs, a Deagle. And it's 2-8.
Right now, it's Guardian, the man who wants to try and keep them off of this A-bomb site. He will be holding it with support from Karrigan and Rain. Smokes now Rain on in, and Guardian caught on out, gets tagged. These pistols up close, going to do damage. Apex capitalizes on that frag. Now they've got an AWP to try and play with. Bomb plant will come in. That's the money bonus as well. And MBK heads Karrigan in with the D, keeps holding the site. Smoke's now going to start to dissipate, so the retake will come on in from FaZe. Time working against them, pushing in. They line up for MBK as he's able to double down. And now Olaf left in the 1 versus 3. Wasn't performing with the AWP. Now going to look to try and do damage on the M4. Does find Shoxy, but he's 19 HP. Apex at the end. CZ in hand. Locks in another round for G2, and it's just been forced by wars back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, it's impressive stuff from G2. This is finally the time we're able to see with these CZs that they're able to actually get into the bomb site and swarm over the defense, and you really see the strength and the mobility of that weapon. And FaZe just couldn't hold on. When the rotations did come in, they were all stuck behind smokes. G2 had plenty of time to readjust and get in good post-plant positions. So really good performance from the French side that round, but that's now 2 force buys that they've won. They really haven't done a whole lot of damage in their gun rounds.
Now it's the Deagles once again, and they're going to be working out for FaZe. I don't know what's happening right now. Shock's going to do all he can to try and keep things even, but the man advantage still up for FaZe. Nico peeks out, and finally, this madness looks like it could come to an end. 3 versus 3. Rain's tagged down at 23 HP. There's still time left, though. And Guardian playing with fate. Kenny not a fan of that. Does go ahead and remove his head from the equation. Now Rain 23 HP. This is out on Karrigan, but Rain, it's incredibly quick. Kenny will come in with the trade at the end. 3 frags for him. He pad those stats out just that bit, and now G2 going to be on to a 4th round. Finally, someone's able to beat the force buy. It's so
scary, those Deagles out of the FaZe side of things. Just immediately 2 kills come out, and some very fine opping by Kenny as he's come alive in this match. You know, I mentioned last time I think we said a scoreline, he only had 1 kill. He's now up towards 12. So good performance from him, kind of rising through the ranks. And that AWP, when he has the time, when he has the range, so deadly. Deagles are back in the hands of a couple members of FaZe. Rain, Nico, and Olaf. Shox is up close, though. Not the fight you want if you're Nico, and he's not even prepared for it. That's Apex that takes him down. And even Kenny's going to chime in with a kill onto Rain. So, at least this time, they managed to avert disaster early on.
Yeah, this one, you'd hope should be plain and simple, right? There's no armor board up for FaZe. They've only got the 1 Deagle on Olaf, but still enough to be deadly. You have got Kenny just waiting in connector, wants to wait and see if any aggression comes their way. Karrigan will be lurking over in the toilets. What an image that is as Olaf, multiple players come his way, gets caught in the crosshair. Karrigan does what he can, able to find the first, wants to try and make it a little bit more, but Shox will deny it. And G2 going to be on to magic number 5.
Yeah, and all props to G2 as well. They've really had to battle and claw their way back into this. I mean, they had to, you know, they win a round and then they're forced upon. They lose to pistols and then they win another one. So, I mean, the fact that they've traded some of those rounds and are still able to make this respectable 5 rounds in a row for them. It did start out as 6-0. It's been a 5-2 run for the G2 side. And now even building up some money behind it. So this is the advantage that they have now over FaZe. Guardian missing the opening shot, just going for a quick pick. But he falls away very fast because he doesn't have utility, doesn't have the smoke to block things off. There's Body with a double kill. That's over towards the sewers. peering in. It's aggression from Nico and Olaf. They did that earlier and got 2 kills from it. This time, Body is ready, and he shuts it down.
Yeah, we're very much starting to see G2 pick up that momentum. I mean, G2, you know, they're very tricky to stop once they get rolling. That's the scary thing here. Kenny's got money for the AWP as well. That's definitely going to come in handy. Right now, with the 2-man advantage, you can see that they're taking this slowly. They're not too keen to throw anything away. We saw in a couple of these rounds, you know, things were looking good for them early on, and then FaZe very, very quick to capitalize on any small mistakes that you might make. G2 well aware they know they can't afford to make them here. Watching over in middle, gonna go ahead and throw a couple of smokes and flashes over here towards the A-bomb site while they duck down into connector. Carrigan's actually spotted at MBK, and that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. You can see the rotation gonna come back round from Carrigan into the B-bomb site. Guardian is the man, though, to try and put a stop to this take.
Oh, he wishes so much there was a crack in that. I think he just takes a blind shot and just hope it hits, but would have been nice if he could have picked off 1 as their way into the bomb site to help his team out. There's no kits on the FaZe side. Rain, I think they're just calling a save automatically. Rain was on the flank down the stairs, but he backed off, and I think that used enough time. And obviously we know if he goes through this door, there is a very deadly crossfire, especially when your flashbang misses, but Rain actually reads it perfectly.
Yeah, but they've kept him away long enough.
Yeah, he's got to call it at this point.
Yeah, I wanted to see if they could probe in, maybe find some damage. If they'd gotten a frag, then I think we would have very likely seen them go for that one, but not meant to be. As you say, that crossfire between Apex and Shox, I think it was, just proves to be too strong, does deter the retake. And G2 clawing their way back into this, as you say, going to be on to a 6th round as we approach the last of the first half. Plenty of money buys, not a question here for G2, as they only lose the 1 rifle in the previous round. Now FaZe, it's crunch time for them. As
yeah, how the tables have turned, right? It's, I mean, after such a blistering start to this, I mean, now to have G2 in this position where they're about to have an amazing half on the T side of Overpass, it's still, it's one of the stronger buys we've seen out of FaZe in the second half of this opening half, is, you know, with an AK-47, with some M4s, with all the utility and nades. Here's a boost for you. Guardian gonna get, no, he's not. He's actually gonna bail out. The Molotov is gonna force their hand, force them back, so nice work from G2, preventing any of that from coming out. They've had some wonderful Molotov use as of late, even in some of their online games.
Yeah, I think they actually spotted the boost as well early on in mid. You can see they've rushed on in to try and catch FaZe while they are out of position. Guardian able to find that first frag now. Rain, I was going to say, we could have seen something spectacular happen there, but Kenny reads the situation well. Keeps things even, 4-on-4.
I wonder if Kenny actually saw like an elbow or something, because he was holding that angle. That was a pretty dirty off angle. We saw Rain holding it earlier. Nothing came from it then, but it seemed like Kenny might have seen something from his perspective. Either way, the fact that Guardian got a kill, Rain died, and Carrigan showed his presence out towards long. G2 has the information that there were 3 players over at A. And now it's just silence across the map as they rotate back towards the B bomb site. It's Nico and Olaf here. Olaf committed right to the edge of Monster. And there's going to be, it looks like, 3 G2 players coming through Monster. If Olaf and Nico can hold this off, there's the smoke. They try and come through it. And we see this all too often. The hit goes absolutely nowhere. And Kenny has to come up and be aggressive now on Catwalk, and he gets dropped as well. Great job from FaZe. Olaf and Nico holding off the B hit.
MBK left 1v4. Here's Carrigan there, open up the door. And well, they really need to try and get some more done here. There's only 9 seconds. There's no time left, and that'll be FaZe to win out the first half, 9-6.
Yeah, great recovery from G2. It was looking disastrous, but they turned it into a pretty solid half overall. We'll see if they can continue that in the second half. Stay tuned. At one point, it was 6-0 for FaZe as they went off to an early start, but G2 was able to claw back on a 6-3 run in this opening match of Group B. And you saw the statistic there in the break. G2 is 0-3 against FaZe on Overpass this year, so they've got some history to overcome as well.
Yeah, I mean, clearly G2, they've been doing their homework. They're feeling it right now as we have seen a bit of a comeback forward. Heading into the pistol round here in the second half. G2, they've got 2 defuse kits in play. Shock's going to have one of them with the smoke, and Apex has one of his own. He's going to start to push up through long, wasting no time, getting straight into this one. Body and Kenny going to lie in wait. The flash is perfect. Body going to try and capitalize. It's a bit of a slaughter over at long, and actually, Rain and Nico and Olaf between them completely shut this down. Apex does take one more, but that's it for him. And now MBK stands on A alone. 1 versus 3. His comrades have fallen over at long, and gotta be wondering where the hell did this round go so wrong?
That's actually a round where you feel so bad for G2. It looked like that setup was absolutely perfect. The flashbang was phenomenal. The kills just didn't come out quick enough, to be frank. I mean, FaZe didn't even hide anything. They were running that whole way. G2 knew exactly where they were, when they were going to turn the corner, and that's why the flashbang is so perfect. And for them to get this result out of it, just breaks your heart. Now FaZe is going to make its way into the B bomb site. It's going to get that plant. NBK is just going to have to go for it. See if he can get any kills quickly. He's turning the corner. Kerrigan's holding him back, allowing this bomb to go down, and he's brought solo. But now they're going to push on him. Now those Glocks are at the range where they're most deadly.
Yeah, and speaking of solo, that's how MBK finds himself. Quick shot on a Kerrigan. 1v2 starts to creep on in. Olaf and Nico do have the crossfire set up. NBK not meant to be. Nico takes that frag all day long, and FaZe going to be able to win themselves out the pistol there. And as you say, I mean, you just feel so bad for them. It looks so calculated. You know, they'd figured this out. It was a very...
Dude, I thought G2 was just going to slaughter him.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see all the white icons go above all the Terrorist players, you're just expecting it just to be a straight beat down by G2. I don't know how they got out of that. Unfortunate for G2. That's the way it happens sometimes. And now we have FaZe. They're going to buy up 2 AKs. They got a UMP, the MAC-10. They brought out the SMGs. It's Shocks here. We'll see how deadly the Deagles are for G2. But this is cool. You like seeing G2. Only Apex is invested in armor. Yeah, they've got some upgraded pistols. Maybe they can make some magic happen. But the big priority needs to be that especially when you are down 9-6 and then lose the pistol round, you have to make sure that your 4th round buy is as strong as it possibly can be.
Well, right now for FaZe, gonna have Rain clearing out connector. Apex actually hears him. Rain, of course, looking to try and make some money with the Mac. MBK jump peeking over. That's got Rain's attention. Apex gonna be lying away as they go for the bait and switch here, trying to force Rain's hand to push on out. Shoxy, in the meantime, gonna have Kerrigan come his way. Wants to try and stay alive if he can, but not meant to be. Kerrigan able to find that all day long. $600 made. And a man down now for G2. Going to be extended that much further as Rain gets rid of Apex. Body doesn't stand a chance up against the Galil, and now it is just MBK and Ketty left.
No, that's a lot of individual fights. When you have these pistols, I mean, the Deagle is even going to chime out at range, or you need to have many, many more bodies to be throwing at these SMGs and rifles. But FaZe is going to win this one with relative ease. Rain is brought down pretty low. Guardian's fallen. But all things considered, they're going to be pretty happy. Bomb just now getting planted, and NBK... I mean, there's no right answer in this situation.
Yeah, 3 frags for Kerrigan in that round. As they look to try and keep things very clean, they will do so. They only lose Guardian. Going down on the A push. FaZe in with an 11th round. Starting things strong here in the second half. Want to try and keep G2 on the back foot for as long as they can. String some more rounds together and try and put a stop to the momentum that G2 picked up there in the end of that first half.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the big thing. G2 can't afford to have a slow start, so this 4th round needs to go so well. Needs to be a phenomenal 4th round to get him on the board and get him going. FaZe doing a very good job. Rain still having a good game. He's actually only bought a pistol, so even more economic decisions being made. Giving the SMG over to the Opper, making sure he can have some money. Obviously, knowing this round, they might have been thrown off by the lack of armor in the previous round. I doubt it, but I mean, it might be a situation where they could say perhaps there's some Faunlesses around. So they're being pretty cautious, all things considered. Guardian's made some progress, and Nico sprays down 2, completely blind, and he taps away at the 3rd while half blind.
USP on Apex doesn't manage to do anything. Shoxy, he's got himself a MAC-10.
Props to Shoxy, taking out Guardian.
Yeah, did deny the AWP for FaZe any chance to farm up cash. But MAC-10, no armor, not the most famed combination. As 1v4 of a lifetime would be required here. So at the minute, just looking to really try and do damage. See if any players come his way. Of course, a kill with the MAC-10 going to be worth its weight in gold at this point to them. So it would be a nice bit of extra financial padding.
I mean, the big question is going to be, are they going to get the AWP in Kenny's hands? I think he'll actually just have enough to do it if he goes glass cannon with no armor, if my quick math is correct. And then the other one, obviously, Shox can drop one over. Shox will be able to drop an AWP if they want to go that route, so that both of them can have armor and the weapons they want. Will be interesting to see what they decide to do, but obviously, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Shox has bought one up. He's going to drop it over to Kenny. The rest of them are going to be sitting pretty nice with the strong M4 buys. Guardian's going to have the AWP of his own, obviously, on the T side. And the big thing here is G2. Not only do you have to win, but you need to win with with players alive. I mean, you can't only get into a one-on-one and win the clutch. You need this economy to get on track very early on. You need 2 to 3 players, preferably 3, obviously, surviving it. Kenny's going to go for an early pick down the stairs. He's got an off angle, and Rain's just going to crouch peek into it, and that's too easy for Kenny. Still alive, going to twirl back as well. Meanwhile, Body and Shox backing him up perfectly.
Yeah, blink of an eye. It's all on Nico and Olof. 2 versus 5, and right now Nico's over here at short. So, Flash goes on in, catches both players, and Nico's allowed to take himself 2 as a result. So suddenly, what was looking like a very clean round for G2 has been dragged through the mud. Nico still over here at short, keeps their attention at B. You can see aggression from Apex and a moment of desperation from G2 as he starts to take ground over here at long. It's perfect timing for Olof to sneak on by. Nico going to grab himself the bomb. Apex also the toilets. Only issue is this could lead to a bit of false information.
This could lead to just a lost round. If Nico doesn't die, if Nico just stays far back, lets Olof do this flank, he could have 2 free kills. Because obviously, I mean, at a certain point, because, who is it? That's Apex who's pushed up into bathrooms. They should realize that there was a window of opportunity because he walked long, but if Olof gets this 1 or 2 kills here, this is huge. And this is looking brilliant.
Oh, MBK actually going to spot him before he can get a bullet off. Now he's been tagged low, needs support from Nico, and Olof falls. MBK finds both the frags needed at the end, and G2, they do manage to get a 7th, but you said they had to do it cleanly. They keep 2 players alive. They save 2 AWPs as well, so they're able to go ahead and double AWP up into this round, but FaZe, they've still got plenty of money to buy up. That's no problem. So G2, they're not out of the woods just yet.
No, not quite yet, but that round went from being great to all of a sudden being a little bit sketchy. They've got to be careful about that. There's too many playmakers on this FaZe side of things, and great awareness from NBK as well to check the back of them. You can actually tell they knew that was a possibility in the positioning they had around that pillar. That was great from G2 in a tough spot. Rain's going to be blocked off by this smoke. It's a pretty big group heading over towards long A. Apex is just jump spotting it, but Kerrigan, Guardian, Olofmeister have the decision to make if they'd like to go that route. And a lot of emphasis on danger controls from Kenny in the stairwell. There's an opening pick for him.
Ooh, gonna be handed a second, make it 3. Kenny will take that all day long. That's the bomb dropped over in mid, and once again, it's heroic from Kenny S to kickstart this round. This time, it's Nico and Rain left. We saw Nico very, very quickly turn the tide of battle in the previous, but this time, it's Rain to step up first. Bodies will hit the floor as Kenny goes down as well. 2 versus 3, Shoxy in with the trade, but Nico starts to sneak in. It's Apex on the flank, could make all the difference. Nico's got no idea. Finished off nice and easy, like a sitting duck out in the open.
And that's it. That should establish a lot of control on the CT side for G2. The defense is looking good, winning 2 in a row. They've now got FaZe at a spot where they might have to give up a round and just go for the pistol. So that's exactly what they needed. They hold on. They've taken some losses, but this is a round where they certainly should be able to build up money, and they should start feeling pretty comfortable on this CT side. It's what they do moving forward now, because now you can see they can start to get more dynamic when they have this money built up, when they have a 3-4 round winning streak. And they're inching themselves back into this game, 8-12. Again, emphasis on the stairwell. Keep control of it. Middle of the map. And it's the connection between both bomb sites, so critically important to how FaZe want to play the T side.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying that from G2. Keeping control of connector, of course, just disallows those fast rotations. Means that any sort of fake has just been impossible right now for FaZe. The only time we really saw things get too tricky in these rifle rounds was when Olaf gets into the back line. But Nico, okay, there's some heroics to try and kickstart this round. Kenny going to go ahead and answer back. Apex in with one more. And just as he thinks something incredible could be afoot, they are going to start to get shut down. Olaf only got his Glock out. Going to be struggling a bit here as he loses out to Nico. Okay, Apex going to go down to the Glock, but that will be it.
And Apex actually did a great job of support. I mean, Kenny's in the back in the bomb site with that AWP, and that close-up M4 is able to mow down a couple as they try and find an ability to wrap around him or take advantage of him between shots. This was quite nice, though. You love that. Takes off the head of Shox at range. You love those scout shots. Back into the buys for FaZe, and I think the main goal for them has to, you have two decisions. You either need to bypass the stairwell or you take control of it. You fight for it and you get those kills, but at the moment G2 is doing a much better job, and this is looking more and more like a contact play over towards B. Lining up, setting up and getting close to Monster. Rain's going to lead the way through. Guardian's there with an AWP as well. Molotov to force him out of barrels, and the timing to try and take advantage, but NBK gets the kill.
No, MBK presented him with a second Guardian. Will be swift on the return, but it's a 2 versus 4. Guardian, though, being handed these frags by G2. Luckily enough, Apex going to be there to trade. Carrigan starts to peek in now, but to take the first. Of course, the brains behind FaZe now has to be the Brawn as bomb down middle of the site. Switches things out to the AWP, starts to sneak on in, but Shoxy could make a world of difference. Flanking round from behind. Carrigan's got no idea. Knife out, starts to just waltz on in, and Shox into the warm embrace he goes. That will be him wish the good night.
NBK's looking deadly, rocking that mustache. Movember mustache. It's quite nice, it's powerful. 12-10. And you thought Guardian might be able to bring them back into it. That was great optic from NBK. I mean, to be frank, just on one side, he takes the opening kill, goes to the other. You can see Guardian was just holding the angle, and NBK kind of knows it. That's why he doesn't peek back into it initially. When he does go back, they're set up perfectly, but they've done some damage. The money's getting low on the G2 side of things, but FaZe needs something that's going to have success. They've tried Contact B. They've sent a couple players into Stairwell. They've never been able to win that battle. Maybe go back towards long like you did on the pistol round, or that, or you would just hope at some point they just say, you know what, screw it. We're going to take the stairs control from them. We're going to make sure that they can't have it. It's a double up setup, much like last round, though, from G2, and that was pretty deadly.
Yeah, MBK has been looking good with the AWP, even giving Kenny a bit of a run for his money. Of course, right now, not exactly showing that. Nine frags to him, but key frags whenever he does manage to scrape them together. As FaZe going to be force buying down what they can. Fast running out of a buffer, though, to play with. There's only 2 rounds between them and G2, so it's going to be the push in towards B. And actually, this could be perfect. G2 have taken aggression over in middle, and that leaves only MBK inside of B. If FaZe go in now, they can get this bomb down.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario for them. I mean, they're playing a retake with an AWP, and unfortunately, obviously, FaZe can't know that, but the fact that they've slowed this down now has allowed Kenny to come back, but it's still both the oppers. So they should be able to at least get a plant out of this. Molotov's in great position. Carrigan's going to continue the push. Bates, no, he doesn't. NBK holds his nerve. Bomb should be getting planted, but this is going to be so tough for FaZe. The flanks are coming in now as well.
Yeah, and Nico actually going to go ahead and give them a bit more of a challenge. MBK in with a second. Now Nico on this Deeg, and this man has made the hand cannon a bit of a signature weapon for himself. Shox in with the trade, and now Rain 1v2. That bomb almost acting like a second man. They're on the clock. Rain takes the first, but Shoxy pulls things back from the edge of defeat. G2 will be in with an 11th round. They're closing that gap.
That setup was costly. That setup was costly to G2, though, almost losing that. That's actually so dicey. I mean, you like the switch up. You know it's got to come at some point, but boy, did FaZe have the perfect call for that exact moment. Getting into the site, 4 kills. Nico alive with that deagle as well, and Rain almost able to pull it out. Still, I mean, this has just been the story of this map. Actually, Apex has got a pretty sexy mustache as well. Movember mustache. I didn't even realize that. It's quite nice. You gonna do a Movember mustache?
I'm 12. I can't grow facial hair.
All right.
Don't be ridiculous.
All right.
I'll join in, but there'll be no difference.
All right. You're like Henry in that sense. Regardless, I mean, the story of this game for G2 has just been barely managing to hang on to be alive in it. I mean, down 6-0, clawing themselves back into the match. That was brilliant. This now has just been a dominant run on the defensive side of things, and even though it's been dominant, I mean, it's been all gun rounds have been won by G2. It's only the pistol round and the ensuing that FaZe were able to win. Now they're almost even equalizing the scoreline. So the fact that they've been so successful on the defense and still don't have, you know, an equalized scoreline is crazy to think about.
FaZe, they clearly think that the answer to their problems lie over here towards long as they send 3 players here initially. MBK rotating off from that B bomb site this time. Holds long. He's fully flashed out. They've been able to find him yet. He just ducks away.
How is he alive? I have no idea. He was up there for a good 3-4 seconds with AKs pointed at him.
And up against FaZe, no less. There's no way that man should have survived that. And now Olaf will be dropped out by Kenny. They don't know that Shox is here as well, so...
That was a super dirty setup from G2. NBK was on the flower pot. Shox is still fighting this. He's alone now, though. They've got to get this kill quickly if they're going to. And no, it's Shox who gets aggressive. It's Guardian all alone. He does find one. And he's got Apex right to his left. You can't see him because of the rock, because of the cover he's behind. And no, he misses the shot. He did a great job of getting the information and going for the repeat, but he can't connect the kill. NBK doing a great job of baiting FaZe into that exact setup. Kenny bailing Shox out with a great angle with his own AWP.
Yeah, now FaZe, they're a man down. They've got Nico clearing out short here. Body holds it close. Here's the man there. And bomb going to be retrieved. Guardian still holding long. And Apex actually going to keep the aggression up here for G2. As he starts to rotate back, that could present an equalizer here for FaZe, but Guardian going to play things safe. Being only 10 HP, doesn't want to go in for any uninformed peeks, rotates around to rejoin the rest of the team on this B offensive. And Body has to deny this bomb plant with only 7 seconds left. This could be all said and done. MBK finds Karrigan, there's no time. And this round will be going the way of G2. They're able to find it a 12th. We're going to go 12-12, and at the end, everyone from FaZe comes toppling down. That's awful for the economy. Nico with only $850.
That's brutal. That position from Body was so nice, though. Inside the smoke as well. Nico makes a play through that smoke, and he actually gets a kill with it, but Body was the important one to get. And it just doesn't come out, so really, really smart play from Body. Even if the other kill didn't come out onto the FaZe member inside the bomb site to prevent the plant, he could have pounced up at any moment and done it. So 12-12, yes. G2 have finally equalized the scoreline. They've gotten all the way back. Shox with 17. Kenny's up to 24. And remember, I think he spent 6 rounds only at 1 kill, so all of that has come out pretty quickly, all things considered. And FaZe need to find an answer, and they need to do it right now. Not a whole lot left for them to kind of test the waters and try and probe. They need to come up with a winning formula immediately.
Yeah. Right now, as well, being on the partial buy, not the ideal round to try and do it in, but they can at least. I mean, yeah, you said they can't really test the waters. This is the one round maybe you can see them getting away with that, right? I mean,
yeah.
These.
And they've been deadly with him in fair play. The tough part is we saw G2. Oh, that's a dirty shot. Body gets ripped.
Still, there's 2 men inside of this B-bomb site. MBK has been a bit of a reoccurring problem in these CT side rounds for FaZe. Unable to overcome him there inside the B-bomb site. Will be 4-on-4 and aggression out through long. Guardian caught off guard. Shoxy takes that all day long, and now man advantage in favor of G2. MBK and Apex, both of them with their attention fixated over here at Monster. Nico's on the Deeg, and whenever this man has the Deeg in hand, carnage just seems to follow. Apex caught out, able to take one. NiKo keeps pushing in, out of ammo, but Karrigan has his back. 2 versus 2 as the bomb goes down. Shox is the first man on the scene. It's Kenny to get rid of NiKo. Now Karrigan, 1v2. Kenny goes pushing in, fully flashed, and Kenny gets the frag. G2, they're going to take the lead.
That's so awkward, that flank from Shox. Is that such a bad timing for FaZe? As soon as NiKo gets the bomb down, he hears the footsteps coming up towards sandbags, and he's got to move. He has no chance of winning that fight. Unfortunately, it flushes him right into the crosshair of Kenny, and then Karrigan as well, trying to dodge 2 different flashbangs, gets pushed out into the open and completely blinded. And this is disaster for FaZe in this match. It's now 7 rounds straight for G2 after losing the first 3 of this second half. So 13-12, G2 in firm control.
And let's not forget, I mean, this was 6-0 at one point in time in favor of FaZe. It has been an amazing return from G2, really coming to their own on this CT side. And now, early boost up from Apex, going to be dismantled as the nades start to rain into B. They get the sense of impending doom, but doesn't look like anything more than a fake as the rest of FaZe now start to push out through connector. This is one of the rounds that G2 have eased off that connector control, and FaZe are quick to exploit it. Now pushing in up towards the A-bomb site. Kenny and Shox have their work cut out for them. Kenny's now left to try and take these duels effectively in a 1v4. That smoke gets denied though as Olof blocks it. He now has to take the angle aggressive, but it does pan out for him. Takes a second as he does damage with the AK. Bomb plant comes in. Kenny going to start to sneak on through, and MBK wrapping round from behind. Kenny's extended far forward, in with the first. Bomb still working against him. It's the wraparound from long from NiKo that could. Oh, MBK wants to make it 2, in with 2, and now NiKo on this flank, and Kenny reads this perfectly. MBK going to walk on into it. 3 frags for him at the end. And G2, they're going to get themselves a 14. There was no way in hell that that retake should have panned out, but it does.
I mean, what a smart play from MBK on the flank. Holding the trigger, the discipline to not take that first shot, going for Guardian as well. That's big because Olaf Meister made all the plays necessary to win that for FaZe. He sees Kenny's Molotov'd himself off. Olaf pushes into the site, gets a couple of great kills, gets more aggressive than G2 was expecting. And just no one from FaZe watching the flank. And part of that is because NiKo was trying to be a flanker as well. NiKo fell all the way back through bathrooms to try and wrap around to find Kenny to take care of that. Missed the timing on it. It took too long. And NBK just goes the other way. And because NiKo had already went down that area, FaZe doesn't think anything about watching it.
Yeah, and I actually think MBK was able to get a frag until like round 10 or 11, so...
He had a tough time as well, didn't he?
The fact that now he's 16 and 22, currently coming in at what? 3rd place for G2 is just... Absolutely say that turnaround has definitely helped them.
I mean, it did seem like G2 took a little bit... they were slow to get into this game to really get started, but they've certainly arrived now. That's for sure. NBK is making a couple of heads-up plays here. Saved him in the previous round. Obviously, that time, though, not prepared whatsoever. And NiKo getting fancy. Surfing while fragging.
Kenny just waits patiently in toilets. Trying to push his way. Things heat up for him. That Molotov. Oh, they're going to hear the tag. They know that he's playing it close. That flashbang does come in to support. Shoxy going to be helping him out. And FaZe, they've decided they don't want to go for this mid play just yet. It's Body who's gone aggressive that throws a real spanner in the works. Guardian has been toppled. Now it's a 4-on-4 in FaZe with 55 seconds left. They've lost that man advantage. How are they going to play the rest of this round out?
Well, NiKo's got to win one of these fights. They're going to push him. They're going to get it. Oh, the one tap is sick. Almost able to follow it up. That would have been beautiful, but it's Kenny S alone at A, and here come the smokes. Here come the nades. He's going to be in a lot of pressure. Body hustling his way back. Can they get there in time? Kenny misses a shot. It's Olaf again with an entry. Now they've got the smokes and the Molotovs to safely plant the bomb. The spam through comes out. That's not the planter. And Olaf responds perfectly. Apex on the flank. They're not going to get caught up on this twice, although Apex, oh, he runs out of bullets. That could be the backbreaker. Karrigan's now aware, and he's going to win the fight. Finally, it's taken so long into this half for FaZe to win a gun round, but they've done it after 8 in a row. They've broken the streak.
I mean, you can see how close some of these rounds have been, because when you look at it, money isn't exactly plentiful for G2. You have MBK, Shox, Kenny, and Body who can actually afford to buy, but it's Apex who's run low in the G2 bank account. So imagine we're going to see them try and field something here. But the pause has been called in. Tactical pause for G2.
Oh, I mean, part of it is because they don't have, I mean, despite winning 8 in a row, they really don't have great money. Apex is on 1,400, Shox is just below 4,000, NBK and Body are right around 4,000. So they've got a pretty tough decision to make, all things considered. Because if they buy into this and lose it, it's almost double save territory. So, and they are going to buy, obviously. You can get an op on Kenny, it's glass cannon, but as long as you can have it, you feel pretty comfortable. But, I mean, despite such a phenomenal half from G2, you really feel like the entire map is on the line in this round.
Yeah, there is so much importance resting on this one round. Kenny wants to try and go for a big individual play, and he's made a couple of them so far for G2. Very much reliant on that with the AWP now as he waits here in connector. Rain going to start to push his way.
This is Old Faithful, though. Remember, this is how G2 opened up the half with a lot of emphasis on the stairwell. And FaZe was never really able to take control from them. So that's a big danger now that G2 is back into it. You also have Apex and Bathrooms there to support. He's only got a 5-7, but that can be deadly if there's no attention on him. And it's looking like Olaf is going to turn into a lurker out towards Long A. The rest of the FaZe team is adjusting towards the B-bomb site.
That's the one benefit, though, G2 taking control of this connector position once again. They can quickly rotate on in. You've got Kenny holding mid. MBK falls to Nico, and now it is all on one man inside of B, trying to do what he can. It will be Body to hit the deck.
I think you save if you're G2 now. You have no kits, you have very little utility. You need this AWP into the next round. You have absolutely nothing. Kenny needs to get out of there. Shox is gone, and he's not going to be able to. The save call didn't come out quick enough in G2. They just get floored in this round. Great opening from Nico onto NBK. That's twice now NBK's dropped on the entries. And they're trying to even take the 5-7 away. They want it all.
Yeah, I mean, you ooh. Nope. Gonna go for the knife.
Dude, they could use this economy. It actually is so good from Apex to get that money. And an AK-47. But now he's got to bail out.
Yeah, I mean, he'll take that all day long. Gonna start to retreat, and they won't be able to get a beat on him fast enough as he is the one who got away. Gonna keep pushing out through mid. Has to be careful. Nah, he's fine. There you go. 14-14, though. And you really emphasized the importance of that previous round, and now we can see why. Even with the knife kill coming in, even with the AK carried forward, there is still, simply put, not enough money here for G2, and they're going to go for the force. They want to try and win this out here and now.
Yep, this is everything on the line here for G2. Smoke goes down, Apex, oh, he eats a nade. That's not how you want to start this round off, but it's not going to slow him down. Here comes the flash, he's got to time it, and he's covering his teammate perfectly. Good trade comes out. There's one more over towards the benches, and Shox wins that fight. Guardian's not able to respond. He does tag him down, but they need these kills coming up the stairs. There's so much pressure from G2 here. It's all on this, and finally Shox is picked off into a 3-on-3. G2 still alive in this round.
Bomb on the back of Carrigan. Starts its rotation into connector. They want to try and leave these options open. Can wait for Guardian to try and clear it out, you imagine. Don't want to get caught off guard and drop the bomb to any lurking G2 players. Of course, we know that there aren't any down there, but have to be careful. Kenny and MBK going to be sitting pretty inside the B-bomb site.
This becomes such a test of patience and discipline. Like, who's going to blink first? Who's going to make the mistake? Because all that action happens so early in the round, plenty of time to get nervous. Great counter smoke towards sandbags. There's 2 players there for G2, and it's just Guardian behind it. And actually, FaZe doesn't want to mess with it whatsoever. They're making plenty of noise, though, so it is at least freezing the defense. And through the smoke, he almost picks off Kenny. But the rest of FaZe is going to go back towards the A-bomb site. And they seem like they don't know what they want to do. Now they want to go back towards B.
Yeah, MBK is going to fall with that, though. Have they played themselves? As Body starts his rotation in, you can see he's already considering saving. Kenny falls, trying to leave the confines of the B-bomb site. And now Body 1v3.
You have to at least try and get 1 kill pretty quickly to give yourself a chance, and it's not even going to happen. But fair play. You want to get 1 frag just to find yourself the opportunity to pull off the heroics. But G2, these past 3 rounds have been so brutal for what they've been able to bring to bear. There was that one critical round at 13-14 when G2 was still up. Losing that, they've just had nothing to really fight with. Again, it's going to be a UMP, it's going to be a FAMAS, and it's 3 pistols.
Man, I mean, this has been a real roller coaster, a real back and forth. Now we're in to what could be the last round of this game. At 14, at 15, FaZe, they're the ones close to winning this out. Despite an amazing comeback from G2, it could all be in vain, as it is a force into this last round. Going to be the case that FaZe start to take control of Fountain, pushing over here towards middle, turn their attention out towards long. They know that G2 don't have the economy to field an AWP.
Well, the success, I mean, hasn't even really, the success for FaZe has come from Nico. He's really turned up in these last few rounds. Some of those kills, some of those entries, some of the impact he's having towards the B bomb site has been great, whether it's opening kills in the round overall or whether it's, you know, the entry kills to get into the bomb site when they decide to go. He's been great. He's over there alone at the moment, just being very cautious of the flank, allowing his teammates plenty of time to move up long. It's 3 players at B for G2, and Shox and Kenny are over at A. They just don't have a whole lot to play with. Kenny's in a position, you wonder if that's a pop flash position from Shox. And the hit's going to come in very, very soon.
Molotovs to force out any players at long. Kenny will lie in wait. Gonna lose out on Shox, doesn't have a man to cover the toilets and starts to play it around the smoke. Kenny walks to the crosshair of Olof. Man advantage now in favor of FaZe. The FAMAS shot back into Apex's hands and he'll then fall to Guardian. This could be it. Body goes down promptly after MBK. Has to show up now with the Deeg. 1 versus 4. Does take the first, but he's tagged extremely low in the process. And Rain gonna finish things off. 16-14 for FaZe on Overpass.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal win for FaZe. Tested massively and in a big way. And you gotta feel heartbreak for G2. Managing to come back into this game, clawing themselves back into it, but never got the firm grip that they needed, even despite a good start to the CT side. We're going to go to the desk for the GoDaddy recap.
The GoDaddy post-match breakdown.
Thank you so much, Jason and Harry. We'll be seeing more from them. And indeed, I think we just kind of echo some of the sentiments of the casters. I am joined by Jordan Nothing Gilbert and Janko YNK Paunovic. Gentlemen, a full 30 rounds, some of the highest quality Counter-Strike we have seen so far today.
That's what IEM is all about, Alex. The best teams in the world, best players in the world, tight games, exciting games, and that's just what we got. I think you have to give massive props to G2 for making it that close, considering they lost both pistols. They were 6-0 down in the first half, but the way they played in the second half on the CT side was just brilliant. Their reads and their gambles on the CT side, the setups that they went for, that connector control that Jason was pointing out, really caught FaZe off guard. They were unable to run their default at all.
And even came back with a force in round 10. You got to see kind of some signature G2 economy, and we got a real game out of this. I mean, look at they started at such a deficit, Jordan, and they showed some resilience.
What's ironic prior to this too is, like Janko said, it was 5-0, and then they lose a round. FaZe wins the next round, loses another economy round, and then they come back and do this. So this whole kind of early round of the match, I actually thought FaZe was going to run away with this half a little bit more than this, and then Kenny comes back with this kind of shots, but to no avail.
Could have been nice.
But, you know, it was funny because at 5-0, I was kind of looking around, and I was like, okay, this is an 11-12 round CT side for FaZe. What is G2 going to show me? But didn't end up happening like that. And, you know, throughout the game, I thought Guardian was going to turn on a bit more. Kenny showed up with the op a bit and had some bid rounds. But outside that, I think G2 actually kind of outplayed FaZe on a lot of the gun rounds. FaZe got both pistols and had some good money in their favor, and still came down to 16-14. So
I think even in the first half, you can't really blame G2 for losing rounds. They were doing like the hard parts, basically getting into the bomb site, planting the bomb, but they were losing a lot of 3v3s. You know, for example, with the bomb down, that's where you generally have the advantage. So it was FaZe stepping up individually in those situations more than anything else.
Nico, Rain, Guardian, or Nico, Rain, and Olaf all putting on big performances there. And yeah, the retakes. I think one of the first only rounds G2 won after those unlucky rounds was like the 4K 1v3 from Apex or something. It was 1v2, but 4K. So a a lot of back and forth, but I do think G2 slightly outplayed him on the gun rounds, which is funny.
Yeah, talking of gun rounds, we're going to be taking a look at round 19, where we do get to see a gun round in action. I believe this one actually went the way of FaZe.
Yeah, and this was the setup. No, this was G2's round. This is the setup with Kenny in connector alongside Shox, and you can see how, you know, basically the whole part of A long and toilets, so all of that is clear for FaZe. The emphasis for G2 is, you know, on that short area, water, connector, the B defense, yeah, and the mid control. And for FaZe, when someone plays like that, you really need to take more gambles. That's where you see teams, 4 players just run out A long straight away, and you keep running until you find some contact. But what G2 did, you saw it later on in the half, the setup with MBK, Kenny, and Shox towards long/toilets. They were constantly adjusting, trying to get a read on FaZe and how they're going to adapt and be one step ahead.
SK does that really well, what you're saying, where if they notice that kind of blue pressure, the way we call it the connector pressure, they spot long, and if they don't see anything, they charge fast, because you know a lot of teams like to control that middle area, so it's a good observation.
Okay, and in the very following round, we got to see the rebuttal. We can kind of check that one out as we continue to scrub through and understand this one. This is kind of a similar setup with a different result.
Yeah, Kenny, I think, gets 3 right here. Fast. This is one of the few offers you could throw.
Yeah.
Stay connector past 130 in the round. You know?
Here in the middle of everything, you know, you can get pincered from multiple sides, but Kenny's just, you know, such an amazing player that he can really make it work.
Ooh. Cheeky boost too, to kind of do that setup. You could tell that was kind of an audible they made for this situation, but
and also how the pop flash comes in after he gets the first kill from contact, so that he can repick again. And that's just really solid play from G2 on the CT side. And it was more than anything else, it was the individuals from FaZe stepping up at the very end that got them over the hump. Nico getting entry kills 2 consecutive rounds. Olaf had a very good round on A, which they ended up losing. That was the 3v2 that they lost, where they just didn't account for the flank.
We can actually take a look at it. The round that you are referencing, round 26. If I'm not mistaken, Yenko, but you can kind of
True, this is like all of they got the kill on Shox early on, and Olaf just takes advantage of, you know, having some space. This is where you think, okay, this round is over. They know Kenny is towards long, but somehow they actually allow MBK to slip through the defense. You can see him flanking, and the player who's out on A long, he's so far back from the tees.
I think that's Nico. And then, yeah, NBK gets these first 2, and he grabs the AQ and gets the 3rd. It's just funny, because even though they won these rounds, that's why I do think G2 slightly outpaid FaZe in the gun round sense, which is funny about Counter-Strike, because you then you have economy and you have pistol rounds.
This is probably the one of the 2 rounds that G2 won where they were at a disadvantage coming into the end of the round. Every other time they would have the advantage. FaZe had to actually, you know, grind out a lot of those rounds where they would lose a man early, or the after-plan situations, and even the ecos they won in the first half.
Absolutely. Well, we talk about Nico and talk about how he did contribute to saving FaZe's hide after a fantastic performance from G2, a full 30 rounds. We can actually go ahead and check in with Nico now. He's standing by with Stunner. We get to hear from the winner himself.
Well, these guys have seen success in New York and Atlanta this year, and they're ultimately trying to do just that here in Oakland. Starting out with G2, though, let's talk a little bit about how you guys prepared for this matchup.
I didn't really prepare a lot for this matchup, since we really feel confident playing against them. We haven't lost them since I joined the FaZe, so we know what to expect playing against them. We know how they play, so we didn't prepare anything. We just talked about what map should we play, and yeah, we expected the overpass, and yeah.
Expected overpass. Usually when the bans go in your way, the vetoes go in your way, that's a good sign of things to come. But ultimately, you can't really forecast having a teammate like Rain or yourself going in there and just going ham, basically. How does that transfer in terms of the vibe and the energy in the team?
I mean, Overpass is the map where Rain is going always off, Rain together with Guardian. So we know what to expect from these players, on Overpass, and so going to Overpass, we know that we have to be on point. So we pretty much been on point, and that's why we had kind of decent city half, not the best, and yeah, also T half was kind of shaky, but I'm happy that we closed it out.
Well, you guys have Optic up next. Any thoughts going into that one before we get out of here?
I'm pretty sure Alu is really hungry to win us, but we also are really hungry to win him as well, and them, since we have in our team when we kicked, or when we removed the player from our team, he's paying Korean barbecue. If we win them, we are paying Korean barbecue to the team, so everyone is willing to win them. So yeah,
that's a good notion to end out on there. Either way, we're going to give it back to the Xfinity analyst desk and Mr. Machine.
I like that a lot.
There is one thing, like FaZe are freaks about Korean barbecue. I have not seen someone like, we love it, like also the talent loves it, but they can just go and eat there every single day. Like Olaf is crazy. Like he eats the ribs and that's it, and he can eat it every single meal of the day.
He knows what he wants.
So it's a big deal for them. The fact that, you know, has to pay for Korean barbecue and all that stuff, it's a big deal.
Dude, it's a CS or esports phenomenon, the KBBQ Live. I know Jordan's no stranger to it either. Well, there you go. I mean, I feel like that says perfectly. And normally I'm supposed to, you know, get you hyped for the next game and then throw to the break. But you know what? He's done it for me. The winner of this one gets Korean barbecue bought by the loser. Now, I know you're excited. It'll be FaZe and Optic coming up after this.